Joining us tonight to discuss the economy, as we do every Wednesday, and all things business related, is Windell Paige from the Big Bend Minority Chamber of Commerce in Tallahassee. Mr. Paige, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me back.
Always good to have you. And we were just talking, and I want to get a little more in depth. The Fed is looking at changing how the economy is stimulated, and stimulus packages have been the way we've done it, but as we discussed, if there were more discretionary income, you wouldn't need a stimulus package, yes?
Exactly. Well, I think you know, the sequester funds has had an impact. I think if we had an opportunity to employ the stimulus package, obviously there's a trickle-down effect that affects us here as small minority-owned and women-owned businesses, even here in Tallahassee. I am very concerned that you know, my term is always inextricably intertwined.
Right.
I love that's the biggest word that I know, because there is so much that happens as a result of that stimulus coming down and creating discretionary funds for our customers, right? Okay. So the stimulus needs to occur. People need to be employed, fully, gainfully employed. We need to get our unemployment rates down so that the impact of folks having discretionary funds are felt by small businesses here in Tallahassee.
Now, of course, one of the main things that everybody's talking about across the country that goes into small businesses is Obamacare. And I know I've been talking with a lot of business leaders about that, and there have been some changes, especially with the federal government pushing those mandates back. Is that something that's going to help in the long run small businesses or hurt them?
Well, I think it's going to help in the long run. I honestly do. I think that all of our good minds coming together. Sometimes I get a little upset with obstructionists who are trying to keep things from moving forward. But I think all things work together for the good. And even though there's a lot of pushback from certain areas and certain sides of the discussion, it causes us to rethink our approach to Obamacare. And I think we're going to end up with a better product in the bottom line, you know? The impact, sometimes there's those unintended consequences that occur when a good idea is brought to the table and you haven't looked at all of the impacts or the potential impacts that it can have on small business. So I think the discussions are good in that it will cause them to come up with the best possible finished product.
And right now, one of the things we're also seeing, especially with minority businesses, is that because of the Affordable Care Act, there are other businesses that are blossoming from it. People with medical transcription services or other kinds of complementary, maybe not doctors and nurses, but complementary services.
Oh, yes.
And these new industries are burgeoning, which means, again, more money in the economy.
Exactly. And that's where a greatest number of small minority and women-owned businesses occur. They're folks who have worked maybe in larger environments and larger corporations who are coming out now and taking advantage of these opportunities to create these new jobs, create new businesses. And that bodes well for our business community.
Good thing. One last thing I want to talk about is saving. A lot of times the Fed looks at how we're saving and how we're not saving. What advice can you give specifically on a better way to just start if you're not? There was a great story that just came out recently. We're saying that how painful it is to be on a budget.
Oh, yeah.
And the most painful part of being on a budget is starting to be on a budget.
Exactly.
That's the most painful part. But these families that are on budgets can do a little more splurging. Yeah. And they were saying that conservatives are more apt to save and to budget than liberals. It was a great study. But how can just a family that's starting out or a business starting out be a part of that by saving more to have that rainy day fund?
Well, you know, I sound like a real bureaucrat here, but maybe it's multiple accounts. You know, there is an account that is specifically geared toward the budget to take care of your day-to-day responsibilities that you have in the family. There's a budget for your business. Okay, stick to your budget for your business. A lot of times, you know, things look tight. You'll take money from the business and make that car note this month because that's the way it is, those lifestyle kinds of businesses. But you got to have a business account. You got to have a personal account. And being a man that's been married for several years.
Several. Define several.
We just celebrated our 12th anniversary.
Wow.
So, but I'm thinking that, you know, it ain't bad to have his and her accounts too.
Yeah, yeah.
So that if you want to put a little something aside for those things that are important to you as the head of the household, and you can spend money out of that account and not have anybody say anything about it, that's a good deal. But you got to do the same thing with your significant other.
Right. Having the golf club account and the purse, the pocketbook account.
You got to have all these accounts, man.
Exactly.
You got to have all these accounts, and you got to be disciplined with the accounts.
I got you.
You don't take your business money to do lifestyle stuff with, and you don't take your responsibilities money to do those personal things like play golf or whatever with. So it ends up being, you know, different different accounts to do different things. But I found in the long run, and then of course that savings account's there too. You know, where you both put something, or you make sure you got a little something in your savings. So you have multiple accounts, and you got to be disciplined to deal with each account accordingly.
Great, Keith. Thank you so much again. Windell Paige, always good to talk to you with the Big Bend Minority Chamber of Commerce. We'll make sure you have all the details about how you can join and support the activities that they're doing right here. We'll leave those links below.